Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Uru yisheni mishenaschem. I'm talking to myself. L'ilui nishmasi mimirasi rusbas Mordechai. Today's shears, once again, sponsored. This is not working, Fishel. What's going on here? Usually there's Refuah shelayma right away. Refuah shelayma for Breinna bas Yenta Devorah, the Matriarch of our family. Sponsored by the Shlomie Klein from Crown Heights, celebrating the anniversary of making it home from the hospital with gratitude to hakodesh Baruch Hu for giving me a second chance to be there for my wife and children. What am I, chopped liver? Shlomie, that's when we developed our relationship. When you were in the hospital, that's when we got to know you. It was a gewaldige, we gained a lot from that whole thing. Baruch Hashem, you're out. It's a full year. Shlomie doesn't like me that much. So he got me as a gift, because he wants me to keep Chol of Yisrael, he got me as a gift like 15 bars of chocolate. And last night after the shear, I went and I tasted all 15. Not kidding. By the Mdy Chat Chevrei, לעילוי נשמת Pנחס ben Elkan, Olav Shalom, father of Yoeli, Elkan, the neshama should have an aliyah. All right, I guess Yoeli, he's not supposed to know about this, but I think he was instrumental in a very emotional thing that happened to me, and I told it to the Olam when Sruli Gordon gifted me the pillowcase that his son used to sleep on. It had the MDY logo on it, and his son, Yerachmiel, used it for a very long time, and it was very emotional when he gave it to me. He said, I want you to have this, and I want you to do the Leil HaSeder on it. And I find out that Yoeli Elkan is most likely behind that pillowcase. So Ishkoyach Yoeli. We have 2 emails today. Well, I received in the last 2 days, I want to say over 70 emails. I'm going to read 2 of them. Dear Eli, this is from Osher Schloss, father of 2 of your Talmidim, Yossi and Menachem. Now, if you recall, yesterday I read Yossi's email, saying it's his first siyum. I don't know how old Yossi is, maybe 30. I know Menachem very well. Menachem Schloss is in our neighborhood. I lived right next door to him when I first moved to Israel. I owe you a tremendous, twice, hakar satayv. What you have done for Yossi, my son, you will never know. You have made a spiritual heart and mind transplant. The Torah is called Teil Chaim. It's no exaggeration. Your added humor makes it so palatable and enjoyable. Reb Shalom Shvadron Zechron Brocha used to add loads of humor to his drushes. He said he was not comfortable as it may be Devorah Tehillim and Leitzana. So he went to the Chazon Ish and asked him. The Chazon Ish said, stand right here on my stender and repeat one of your drushes exactly as you do in public with all your jokes. So Reb Shalom in his unique manner did it. The Chazon Ish said, yes, that's exactly how it should be. That's exactly how you should do it. I have no doubt the Chazon Ish would say the same to you. Thank you. Schar Chagadol Ma'od, Osher Schloss, Yerushalayim. I guess he's in Yerushalayim now. I know he's in England usually, I think. Anyways, one thing that came out of this email, I thought that Reb Osher watches the shir. It's because of Reb Osher that I don't say Hashem's name in Psukim anymore, because he said, Chazi Mayam Dvar. Okay, he says, well, he's not a Talmud. Okay, I don't know. It's a kasha. Now, if you recall, a while back in January, a person by the name of Michael Kashi, he sent an email. He said he was taking a walk with Jeremy Cohen, and Jeremy Cohen told him about the shir. So he's taking the shir. He was born in Iraq, in Baghdad. He now lives in London since '92. I don't know if you remember that email. Fast forward all the way to March, the end of March. He says a brief note to say thank you for helping me complete Psachim and celebrate my first siyum. So tremendous mazel tov. So you hear what's going on here? He took a walk with Jeremy Cohen. And Jeremy Cohen told him to join the shir. So he joined the shir. And because of Jeremy Cohen, now Michael Kashi made his first siyum ever. Unbelievable. So what's your excuse? How come you don't go convince your friends? So a guy in the siyum told me, I'm very shy. Shy. Comes to Parnasa, we go out there. Comes to spiritual Parnasa, getting other people to be starved to Torah, build up your account. Well, all of a sudden I'm shy. All right, Rabbi Isai, I feel like I'm talking to myself here. I need Avi Kamiansky to jump in once in a while. I need Noam fix. You have no kashas on Shkalim. It's so pashat. What's going on here, Noam? All right. I'll continue talking to myself. We are holding by Halacha Daled, by the Mishnah, the Gimel Amud Beis. Says the Gemara, and by the way, somebody had Rachmanas on me and sent me some of these guys today. I have no idea who it is, so thank you, whoever you are. They're kind of hard to see. Oh, so I went to the doctor, I'm telling you before we start, I went to the doctor today. Unbelievable. He said that actually my eyesight got better since last time. I'm not going to tell you when the last time was. It was a problem. It was quite a few years ago. More than 5 years ago. But it got better. I dropped by what he says, when you get older, that's what happens. But yeah, I don't need reading glasses yet, but I'm almost there. Okay. Today I could actually see better. Says the Gemara. Says the Mishnah. We're talking about the machzis hashekel, the half a shekel that every single person in Klal Yisrael, even people that live in Chutz La'aretz, they bring to be part of the korbanos. You want to be part of that carbon tamid that you bring twice a day, part of that carbon musaf. How are you part of it? You donate a machzis shekel. Everybody donates the same amount, but nashim, avodim, ktarim, they don't. And we said that you don't go and grab money out of a isha. No. Avalim shaklu. But what if the woman wants to give? She wants to be part of it. Mikablu miyada. So that wouldn't be a problem that we have here money that's not supposed to be here, and she could be part of it. Hanachri v'akusi sheshaklu ein mikablu. Now, first of all, we have to discuss what a kusi is. We know what a guy is. A kusi is throughout Shas. It's a whole nation of kusim that came to Eretz Yisrael. And I don't know, maybe we could relate to them slightly. You know, like these the Filipinos that came to Eretz Yisrael, they worked there, whatever. So there's a big machlokes in Shas. They became Gerim. Eventually they all went off the derech, they all went back to their old ways. And the question is, are they real Gerim or fake Gerim? Are the Gerei Arayas? Did they become Gerim because the lions were chasing them and they were forced into Geros? And therefore, they were never Gerim from day one. It's just a fake. So they're like Goyim for every single halacha. Or perhaps the real Gerim. Says the Mishnah, the Nachri v'akusi, a Goy and a Kusi. The Mishnah is putting them together in the same category. Sheshaklu, who donated the half a shekel, they're so bad, these kusim, that their money is worthless. We don't want their money. And we don't take from them kinei zavim v'kinei zavais. You know, when a person has a ziva, it's an emission that comes from his body from a disease, or a zava, which is actually different. It's real dam, but it's in different days. It's not in the days of the nida. It's days of ziva. She sees 1 time, 2 times, 3 times of a g'dayla, of tana. We're not going into it. The bottom line is that when they come out of this, when they become tired, they have to bring karbanos. If she's a zav g'dayla, he's a zav gamur. We don't accept these birds from the goyim, from the kusim. Vikini Yolda, he said, if a woman gives birth, imagine a Gaya gives birth, a Gishmak Shegitz, she wants to bring a carbon. You don't accept the carbon. The Chatois Vashamai, she says, oh, I was Mechal Shabbos. So I killed the Jew by mistake. Maybe I should bring a carbon. We don't bring Chatas. We don't take the Chatas, the Vashamais. Zeakla. Kol Shenidor Vinidov, Mikabla Miyadam. Anything that. So the difference between a neder and a dava is harei olai. Harei olai means I accept upon myself to one day bring a carbon, or nedava is harei zu. I point to this animal, I say this one. Okay, so if they could bring it as a nedava, a shlamim, great, but not a chatas, not a asham. Mikabel miyadam. Kol she'en nidav v'nidav emikabel miyadam. Okay. V'chein meforish hayidei Ezra. It says meforish in the pasuk in Ezra. Shenemar loy lachem v'lanu livnois bayis lelikenu. It's up to us. The Jews are going to build a Beis Hamikdash. We're not accepting money from other nations. Top of Daf Daled. Ve'elu shechayavim bekolboin. This is a brand new sugya, and this is all we're going to be dealing with today. This idea, and a lot of people who don't learn Daf Yomi don't know about this. They won't have a clue that such a thing exists. It's called a kolboin. The Tiklin Chadatin says that it's a combination of two words. Kal bein. Kal is a very light amount of money. So the question is, we're going to see in the Gemara, even in the Mishnah, is machlokes, is this kal bein? So you give a machzah shekel. Say it's $1. In addition to the machzah shekel, you give a kal bein, which is a tiny amount. It's 1/24 of the machzah shekel, 1/12. You give another 5 cents to top it off. Either it's a doiraisa, or it's the rabbanon. You have to pay for the money changer. You have to pay for the difference, maybe in the actual shekel. We'll see different svaras what it is. Maybe because it's pure silver. Maybe it's missing a tiny bit. So in order to make sure that you're giving the right amount, you're not jipping off the Beis Hamikdash. You give a little bit more. Who's chayiv? Levim, Yisraelim, Vegerim. A ger, why not? He's a Jew. We call Devorah. Ve'avadim, shuchrarim, freed slaves. Avaloi kohanim, but not the kohanim. So we had yesterday the kohanim are troublemakers. They don't really want to give. They're supposed to give, we said, lahalacha, unless it's ben bukhri, but they're supposed to give. But we're not going to force them. So if we're not going to force them, so the idea is that anybody that's giving, that doesn't have to give, so it's a gift. It's a gift to the Beis Hamikdash. So we're not going to say, hey, give the gift and give it fully. Make sure it's 100%. You want to give a gift that's 98%, that's also good. We'll take it. So if a woman gives a machzah shekel, she doesn't have to give. So we're not going to force her to give the kalboin. The kalboin is only the addition to make sure you're giving the full thing, but she doesn't have to give anything. So whatever she gives, we'll take it. What if somebody's giving for the coin? So, and now, basically, he gives the Beis Hamikdash a full selah, and he wants back a half a shekel. Selah is worth 2/2 shekel. He wants a half back. Ayad Isha, Ayad Eved, Ayad Katan Patur. Why? Because they don't have to give. And Memela, there's no kalbon here. V'im shokal al yodoi v'al yad chaveroi. So he lent his friend. Before he didn't lend. Now he's lending his friend the half a shekel. So chayiv bekolbon echad. He would only have to give one. There's one transaction going on over here. He gave one whole selah, which equals 2 half a shekalim. He gave it in there. So there's only one kalbon. So Meir, as we're going to see in the Gemara, since it's the doiraisa, every half a shekel that comes in, you have to add one kalbon. So now you gave 2 half a shekels, so you owe the Beis Hamikdash 2 kalbonos. It's not because the money changer, it's not because of this. It's each person has to give a half a shekel plus a kalbon. Hanoisin sela v'noitel shekel chayiv shtei kalbonos. So this is a very interesting halacha. For this we need the Gemara. What's going on here? You have to give 2 kalbonos. It's kind of contradiction to what we just said. The Gemara is going to explain that it's not. It could go according to everybody really, but you might have to give for both transactions. It's a big chumrah. We're viewing the transaction as if there's step 1, you gave the money, step 2, you received change. For those 2 steps, you have to give a kalbon to the money changer. Hashoikel, we'll see in the Gemara how it fits in with everybody. Hashoikel yad ani v'yad shchenoi. If you gave a gift, your machzah shekel, you gave a machzah shekel for a poor person or for a neighbor, v'yad ben iroi, potter. You don't have to give a kalbon. But if it was a halva, was alone chayav. Ha'achim hashutfim shechayavim bekalbain. So the Mishnah is telling us that one thing is dependent on the other. If there's a partnership between brothers, they are chayav in a kalbain, and therefore they are potter in meiser behema. So meiser behema is when you have animals, every 10 animals, 1 out of 10 goes, and you have to bring it to the Beis Hamikdash, you shecht it, and you eat the meat. But it's meiser. So 1 out of 10. But the halacha is that if you're a partner, partners don't bring meiser. They're potter. So here you have a situation where the brothers are partners, that they have to bring a kalbain, the potter from meiser behema. But on the reverse, if they are partners and they're chayiv in meiser behema, Yosef came in, I love your sweatshirt. Shkoyach for the merch. But if you are chayiv in meiser behema, you're potter from the kalbain. So we're going to see there's 2 types of partnerships. 2 types of brothers, they inherited. You can take a Yerusha, divvy it up, and then put it back together again, and now you're partners, or you just remain partners without divvying it up. So there's 2 types of partnerships, and therefore, one of them is chayiv in a kalbain, one of them is potter. When we get to the Gemara, we'll understand it a lot better. Kamu kalbain? How much is this? Ma kesef. Remeir says it's 1/12 of a machzah shekel. V'chachamim ma'imrim chatzi ma. It's 1/24 of a chatzi shekel. Says the Gemara. Ava bishamra. So in the beginning of the Mishnah we said, even though you don't take physically or forcefully from the women, from the ketanim, nevertheless, if they give, we'll take their money. Says the Gemara, halid baya in toivim. Seems like you don't even demand money. Forget about taking. You don't demand. Over here you say toivim. But yesterday we learned that you do demand from a minor. You say, pay up. You won't take forcefully. So what's the Gemara going to answer? We had this yesterday. There's 3 stages in manhood. You have a katan that doesn't have simanim, so you ain't toivim. You don't talk to him at all. You're not going to demand money from a 5-year-old. But then you have a 13-year-old that has simanim. So you're not going to be forceful with him. You're not going to physically take the money away from him. But you're going to say, hey, pay up. And then you have a 20-year-old. If he doesn't pay, then you come in with force. So says the Gemara, if there's a 13-year-old that has simanim, then you're teveya, not memashkin. You're teveya, you demand. Even if he's 13 years old, but he doesn't have simanim, he's not a true gadol, so you don't even ask him for money. Says the Gemara, Anochi ve'akusi. Omar Rebbe Ba. I love the name. Rebbe Ba. It's like Bo knows, whatever. Have to be from the 80s maybe. Ti pater kimando Omar kusi kinachri. These are all Yerushalmi Lashonas. So if you're not familiar, we got to get familiar with this. Ti pater. We'll have an answer. This will be understood like the Mandama that says that a guy, a kusi, is like a guy. The kusi, again, he's going to hold that they're not the Geirei Arayos. They were never into the whole Geiros thing. They pretended because they didn't want to be eaten up by the lions. So this says Gemara, this palgun, this is machloikis, pligi, right? That's already lashon from Bavli, but not this word, this palgun. This is machloikis kusi kenachri divri Rebbe. So we're going to go like Rebbe that says that a kusi has halacha of a guy. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel Omer kusi Yisrael. No, the real gerim, and a real ger that does a 180 and starts doing avodas zara, too bad on him. He's like a regular Jew. So if he decides that he's going to give the machzah shekel, we take it. Omar Rebbe Lazar. You see this? This is what we call Rebbe Elazar. It's like what they, in Europe, they called Rav Shach, Reb Lezer Shach. His name is Elazar. They take off the Aleph. Reb Lazar. Omar Reb Lazar, Masnisim ben Achrim. We're talking about non-Jews. Habekusim loy. All right, that was enough, Avi. I got it. Okay. That was geschmack. I just woke up again. Okay. Masnisa benachrim. Habekusim loy. Because once again, we're going to go with this pasuk. This is the pasuk that rules the whole day. Loy lochem. Vilanu livnois bayis lelokeinu. Only us, not the kusi. Knocks out the kusi. V'tani kain adam l'rabbi sagerim. So this is, I hope the other ones mikabel themselves to start studying Parshas Vayikra, Chumash Vayikra with all the korbanos to know it inside out. Should be a gears to the Yankasa. Second pasuk in Parshas Vayikra, last week's parasha. Adam ki yakir mikem korban lashem. So we darshan Adam. This word Adam is a human, any human being. Adam l'Rabbi Sagerim mikem lahoitzi samumarim. Okay, but a guy that decides to do avodas, go off the derech, but seriously off the derech, avodas kind of derech, Shabbos b'faresya, he cannot bring a korban. Lahoitzi samumarim. Says the Gemara. Okay, so it's a problem. Over here it says that a ger, yes. Hakusim loy. So which one is it? Says the Gemara. Masnisa pliga al Rebbe Lazar. Now over here, all of a sudden he has an aleph. Our Mishnah argues with Rebbe Lazar. So our Mishnah, according to Rebbe Lazar, is not talking about a kusi. The Mishnah must be talking about a kusi. What guy in the world is going to come to the Beis Hamikdash and say, "Oh, I gave birth. I need you to take my birds"? They don't even know about these halachas. They know about ziva. Ask anybody in the street what a zav is. Nobody knows what a Jew doesn't know what a zav is. You think a guy knows what a zav is? What ziva is? Two riyas, 3 riyas, a zav katan, zav gadol. So they're not bringing any of these korbanos. Ella. So you have to say that the Mishnah is talking about a kusi. Ella reisha benachrim v'sefer bekusim. That's difficult to say that we start off talking about a guy, and all of a sudden when it comes to the kinim, to the korbanos, now we're talking about a kusi. Kenu. Yes, you have to say that. Reisha benachrim v'sefer bekusim, even though it's a little bit of a stretch, but that's the only way to explain the Mishnah. When we're starting to build the Beis Hamikdash, we don't take any money from the goyim. Why? So there's 2 types of objects. Dover Mesuyim is something that's noticeable, like a door. Imagine the door was donated by the guy. So the guy is going to go around and telling people, "I built the Beis Hamikdash. Look, you see that door? That's mine." In Erechin, I just did it because why not? I did it back then. So in Erechin, we learned about the sugya about Dover Mesuyim, and over there they said Dover Mesuyim. And an example was Kalya Oirev. There was something called Kalya Oirev. There's a machlek. Is there interesting? Is it the spikes on top of the roof of the Beis Hamikdash that the ravens shouldn't be able to land on the roof of the Beis Hamikdash, or it's a scarecrow? So here are the 2 things. Kalya Oirev. These little guys that you don't allow the pigeons to land. That's something similar on the top of the Beis Hamikdash. Another man says, imagine if the non-Jew says, "Look, I donated this." All right, got this connected there, but now I'm on my device, so I missed the Beis Medrash. Believe me, I missed the Beis Medrash. Try it out one day. Somebody give a share at 12:15 in the morning. It's geschmack, trust me. Very geschmack. Then the internet goes out, and then the lights go off. It's gewaldig. All right, and nobody's talking to me. Everybody's shy. It's shkalim. Menachem Atel, where are you? What's going on here? Amazing. Oh, wow. Oh yeah. He gets it after the share. Don't worry about it. We don't have to chop him now. Okay. So says the Gemara like this. Says Rabbi Yochanan, it doesn't matter. When we're building the Beis HaMikdash, we're not going to take even money. You can't notice money. You can't say, oh, that dollar went over here. If it's a noticeable thing, obviously you can't take from him. But even a non-noticeable, davar she'eini misuyam. Okay. Ubasoif, but once the Beis HaMikdash is built, mekabelem davar she'eini misuyam, ve'mekabelem davar misuyam. Then I can receive some money, things that are not noticeable, I don't know, thread, whatever you want to take from them, fat, something that you can't really notice, that you'll take. So that's Rabbi Yochanan. Who always argues on Rabbi Yochanan? Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish Amar, Rabbi Yochanan's brother-in-law, Bein betchila, bein basoif, ein mekabelem, loy davar mesuyim, loy davar she'ein mesuyim. I don't care. I never take anything from them. And he, of course, is going to be using this pasuk right over here. We build livnois bayis le'Elkan. We build it. They have nothing to do with it. Masnisa, there's a brisa pliga Rabbi Yochanan that argues on Rabbi Yochanan. It says, "Ein mekabel mem hegdish unedava lebedek habayis." It seems like never, even afterwards, you never take donations from the non-Yidden. Okay, skip a little bit over here, maybe. Batchilo shafilu pasar batchilo shafilu ma'osav. So we could answer number one is that we're talking about in the beginning. Did I skip? Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, I did skip. Pasar law. Answer number one is Bein Batchila. Yes, I know. Thank you. Gewaldig. When you're doing your Yerushalmi, if I miss words, do not correct me, because most likely there's somebody that took out those words before me. Now, there's another thing I want to tell you, Rabbi Isai, and that is that by the time we're done with Yerushalmi, you're all going to become grunics. And the reason is because he takes out so much, he makes it that much easier for us, you're going to love him. Pasar la bein betchila bein basoif, ubavad davar mesuyam. So one answer is yes, we're talking about in the beginning, we're talking about at the end. And you have to say that it's not davar mesuyam that the goin sticks in. Ubavad, it's not. Ubavad shelayma, what's the word here? Okay, I think that's what he sticks in shelayma. Next answer. Pasar law. It's talking about in the beginning. Batchila, you have to stick in the word batchila. Shafilu ma'osav, even if you give cash, if it's the guy's cash, you must throw it where? Into Yam HaMelech. Why? Because at the end of the day, it's kachim. It's kodesh. So you can't use it. But I'm not going to put it in the Beis HaMikdash. But I don't want somebody else to take the cash later on, the gold, whatever it is. The only eitzah is to destroy it completely, throw it into Yam HaMelech. Reb Shimon ben Lakish Amar, Bein batchila bein basoif, ein mekabel mem lo davar mesuyim. Why? Masnisa pligi al Reb Shimon ben. Oh no, maybe they don't take it out. I don't remember anymore. Ein mekabel mem lo davar mesuyim. Masnisa pligi al Reb Shimon ben Lakish. Reb Shimon ben Lakish says we don't take anything from a guy. I don't care when, before, after. The Tari Hakol Shavim. So we're going to see this machlokes a little bit later. But this again it goes back to Erechin, that Remeir holds that a guy is nerach and not mayrich. So for that, you actually do need this chart. This is nerach. This guy is nerach. When I point to somebody else and I say, I want to give the Beis HaMikdash whatever he's worth. And here's the chart of what he's worth. So in other words, if he's a zachar, this guy in bed is a zachar, and he's between 5 and 20 years old, that guy looks like he's between 20 and 60, he's worth 50. He's worth 50 shekel. So if I go like this, if I say, I want to erkoy olai, whatever he's worth, so this guy is a nerach. He is being evaluated. And he's the marich. He's the guy who's doing it. So according to the mayor, guy can be nerach. I could point at a guy and say, whatever that guy, Michael Jordan, he's worth $10 million, that's what I want to give to the Beis HaMikdash. Nerach. But Michael Jordan can't turn around and say, oh, whatever he's worth, I want to give. That's Reb Meir Shita. And then you have Rabbi Yehuda says the opposite. He can be Mayrich, but he's not Nerach. He cannot be a Nerach because look, he's not in this list. He's a Zachar, but he doesn't fit into, he's not a Yiddish Zachar. So anyway, fine, that's the Machlokes. But the point is, it says afterwards, Hakol Shav, and everybody agrees, Sheim Noidrim V'Nidarim. A guy could be Noider and be Nidar.
It's irrelevant when it comes to Erfin, only Nidarim and Nidavos, right? Just to clarify.
No.
It's a set fee by Erech and Marich.
I know, but I'm talking about the Mishnah over there, that he's a Nerach and Marich. And then the Mishnah says now, after that, there is a Marich and a Nerach. I know the set fee, that's why Rabbi Yehuda argues in Rameir. But then they all come together and they say, Shavim Shem Noidrim V'Nidarim. That they could, there's no machlokes in that. A guy could make a neder, he could say, I want to donate X amount. But the bottom line is, Rav Shlokish says a guy can never give any nedava. I don't accept anything from a guy. And over here it says, Shavim Shem Noidrim V'Nidarim. A guy could give a neder. Nidarim is on him. How does that work? Says Gemara, Pasala Oila. We're talking about that the guy gave an Oila. So according to everybody, if a guy decides to give a carbon, a Oila, that's fine. Money not. Because money is part of the Beis HaMikdash. I don't want it to be part of the Beis HaMikdash. You want to throw an animal on the Mizbeach, we'll allow you to do that. Says the Gemara, Nicha Noidrim Oila. That fits into the word Noider, that a guy gives an Oila. Nidarim Oila, what? Somebody could say, I want the guy to be an Oila. Like, how does Nidar mean? How does it go? How does it apply to the guy? Elo, Kishoma Yisrael Harei Elai Oila, V'Shoma Nochri V'Omar Ma Shoma Ze Olai. There's a whole other girsa here, according to the opposite, that the guy said, the Jew said, whatever that guy said. So it's really the Jew bringing this carbon, which the guy said. Okay. So that's how we have a nidr. Of course he brings the wine, the libations that come together with the carbon. So what do you do? What happens if you have extra wine? What do you do with that? You have to take the extra wine, sell it, and you buy a klisharis. Well, now all of a sudden in Beis HaMikdash, I have a golden vessel that was bought with goyish geld. What do I do? Heisiv Rabbi Yosi bar Rabbi Bun. So Rabbi Yosi has an answer. It's turning out that Amud Beis Yerushalmi is also much easier. I'm starting to chap that as well. Then what? According to Rameir, you do nerachim. This is tricky. And according to Rabbi Yehuda, we do orchin. That lo mishane kokach. Loila bedek habayis hinun. Wait a minute. When a guy says Yoeli, or you say that the guy's erech, whatever it is, where does the money go? It goes to build up the Beis HaMikdash. And just like you say over here, that the guy had no idea where the money is going to go. He saw a bunch of Jews saying Yoeli, so he did the same thing. He saw a guy, I want to be like that, I want to give money. He didn't chap that it's going into the wall of the Beis HaMikdash. He just wants to give a donation to the Jewish cause. So, Memela, I'll take his money. And it happens to be that we're going to divert the money towards the Beis HaMikdash itself, to the physical walls. So too, you could say over here, over here, he meant just to give to Shamayim. The wine he meant to give to the Mizbeach. He had no idea that if there's extra wine, I'm going to buy a golden vessel with it. That could happen by itself. We just turned to Daf Yomi Beis in Yerushalmi. Unbelievable. Brocha vehatzlacha for all the MDY team in their everyday lives, for all the hard avodas hakodesh they do. Eli Stefansky, and sponsored for Refuah shelayma for all Chol Yisrael, especially from our MDY family. Please consider joining the MDY Tehillim group, tehillim.8mindaf.com. Zok Gemara. Now, you skip this a little bit. Reb Shimon ben Lakish pasala lo elochem v'lo livnei beis Elkan. That's Reb Shimon ben Lakish. Reb Lakish is, like I showed you before, that famous pasuk. I don't take anything from the non-Jew. We build a Beis HaMikdash, nobody else. Chizkiya Omar. There's yeshivas that won't take non-kosher money. I'm not saying from a non-Jew, but from a Yid that's oiva aveira, they won't take money. They refuse to take money from them. I know a lot of people like that. Rabbi Simon Sha'al. Does anybody remember what this word Sha'al means? Because in Hebrew it means he asked a question. Sha'al. No, that's not what it means here. Sha'al in Yerushalmi means he knows what he's talking about. He has a shita, and he wants to know, does anybody agree to me? And since nobody's going to argue on this, so it seems like everybody agrees to him. What did he ask? He says, look, this is what I hold. Do not take money for the sewer of the Azara. There's like a pipe that went through and water was flowing there. That's where they threw the blood in and the parts, whatever things. You need to use that auger, whatever it's called. You need Yomi Klein from Superior Plumbing to come in there, take care of business. Who's going to pay for that? The Chaimas, I know Yomi Klein would do it for free, but in real life, you got to pay for this stuff. And you cannot use their money to build up the walls and the towers. Hashem v'lochem ein chelek. So, no, where's that pasuk? Okay, the pasuk says, another pasuk somewhere, it says v'lochem ein chelek. Now, the Vilna Gaon takes out 4 lines plus. Don't forget that the Takman Chadatin that we go with, the art scroll, everybody goes with the Takman. He's a Talmud of the Gaon. So therefore, you'll see that when the Vilna Gaon takes it out, so does the art scroll, so does the Mesivta, they all take it out. Okay. Masnisa de Reb Meir. The Amar Reb Meir, Kishem Shikloi Torah, Kach, Kolboine Torah. Okay, I'm not exactly sure how the Girsa goes here, different Girsais. The point is like this. Kishem Shikloi Torah, Kach, Kolboine Torah. Says Reb Meir, the Machzas HaShekel, you agree with me, is a deraisa? Yes. So too is the Kalboin. This word that nobody was familiar, not no one, but 80% of us didn't know that this word existed yesterday. This Kalboin happens to be also the deraisa. Kosavar Meir, benoisen shikloi shalom shuchay bekalboin. Even if you give 2 half a shkalim, you have to give a kalboin. The Meir. This is the amazing thing. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't know exactly what the Machzas HaShekel looks like. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu reached down under the Kisei HaKavod and he pulled out like a matbeah made out of fire. Like this, yitnu, kozeh yitnu. In other words, it has to be exactly like this. What's the one that he pulled out of the Kisei HaKavod? It was a Machzas HaShekel, 100% Machzas HaShekel. So if you bring something that's 99.8% Machzas HaShekel, you aren't Yenta. Because the Kodesh Baruch Hu said Kozeh. Now if I'm going to use a silver coin, after 20 times, it's going to rub off a little bit. It's not going to be 100% of Machzas HaShekel. So I have to add a kalboin. So yesterday I was walking in the airport, and all of a sudden my phone rang, and I look and I see it's Jonathan Austin. He's been calling me, he's been very instrumental in a very important thing for MDY. But mamish, he took it on as a project like you can't believe. He told me he's doing it, he wants to increase Torah, and he wants more people to join, and he had a project, and he go crazy. He calls up, no, I'm fixed 10 times a day. He called me up. So I decided I'm walking the airport, I'll pick up the phone. What does he want now? He says, I have a murdik vart to tell you. Okay? And he told me a beautiful vart. I want to share with you, but I forgot who he said it in the name of. But I'm going to say it in the name of Jonathan Austin. He said, why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu show Moshe Rabbeinu a silver coin made out of fire? Take a silver coin, put it on a white napkin, and here it is. Why fire? He said, I'll tell you why. Because fire has the ability to kindle another fire without losing anything from it. It's the same exact fire, it just makes more. So when you give tzedakah, nothing comes out of your pocket. You're taking it, you're giving it to the Beis Hamikdash, you didn't lose a thing. It's like fire. I see Noam Fix likes the Vart. I liked it too. So Yishkoyach was kedai to pick up the phone. Says the Gemara, Nosan Sela Litol Shekel Chayiv Shnei Kalbonos. You gave a selah equals 2 shekels. You notice how it says here, little shekel. But I mentioned that in the Hagdama to the Masechta. We're always going to call the half a shekel a full shekel. It's just the way to call it. It's a half a shekel. Don't be confused. I'm giving 2 half a shekels and I want 1/2 a shekel change. But the Gemara calls it nasan selah little shekel. It's just, that's how they used to call it, because that was the coin. So you have to pay 2 kolbainas, says the Mishnah. Why? Omar Rebbe Lazar. The Rebbe Meir. This goes according to Rebbe Meir that says that the kolbain is d'oraisa. The Rebbe Meir, you don't gars this, not gars this. The Rebbe the Divrei Torah, I don't remember how he gars. The Sanya, Elu chayavim bekalbain, kalbain echad, v'Remei Amar shnei kalbainais. So in other words, Remeir agrees that you have to pay the money changer. The money changer has to make a little bit, there's a little loss here. So you have to add a kalbain. But in addition to that, you also have to pay a kalbain because the Torah says to pay a kalbain. So now you pay 2 kalbainais. V'mar Rav divrei hakoli. And Rav says, no, it doesn't have to go according to Remeir. It's everybody. Echad shekel shu noisim, v'echad, you take out the Amar Remeir. Echad shekel shu noisim, v'echad shekel shu noitel. So this is the interesting thing. Because you're talking about kachim, you're talking about bedek habayis, you have to be super careful. And therefore, there's 2 transactions going here. I give him the money, and he returns money. For both transactions, you need a kalbain. Al daiti the Rav shleisha kalbainis. So according to Rav, in Reb Meir, there'll be 3 kalbainis. Why? The 2 transactions plus a third that the Torah is mechayiv to give. Also, Reb Shmuel says, comes Reb Yirmiyah and he says, Reb Shmuel bar Rav Yitzchak, b'shem Rav, shleisha kalbainis. According to Reb Meir, there's actually 3, like we just said. And he explains, echad shekel shu noisen, ve'echad shekel shu noitel. There's 2 transactions when you give a coin into the money changer and you receive a coin back. There's 2 transactions. That's 2 kalbainos. Ve'echad l'dvar Torah, because the Torah specifically says you have to add a kalbain. Says the Gemara. What's the case that they become partners and they're chayiv in a kalbain, but they're such partners, regular partners, are part of a meiser behema. You don't have to give every 10th to yourself, so to speak. You don't have to bring to Yerushalayim. What's the case? They divvied up the entire Yerusha, so they were, and then they brought it all back together, so they're full partners. Now, what's the other case? Why are they chayiv if they're partners? Because it's still in tfusas habayis, it's still there. They forgot, they didn't have time yet to divvy it up. So Mela, the father was chayiv in a kalbain. So whatever the father had, that's what they have right now. They didn't divvy it up yet. So they're not partners really. They just own it together as a tfusas habayis. That's how the father left it to them. Omar Rebbe Lazar, v'heim shecholku g'doyim keneged tiyashim utiyashim keneged g'doyim. If the father left 20 sheep and 20 goats, and this one took the goats and this one took the sheep, so what happened? It was like a real transaction. There was a real business deal here. Because in theory, each one should have gotten 10 goats, 10 sheep. But they decided to do it differently. So then it was like one bought and one sold. It's like a real transaction. And then when they put it back together again, now they're 100% partners. It's like 2 fremde people, 2 strangers that come together because there's a real divi, a real mekach umemkar, so to speak. But if I take 10 goats, Reuven takes 10 goats, and Shimon takes 10 goats, Utyashim keneged Yashim, hu chelkam yishar rishayna. So there's a concept called Breinna. Breinna means we retroactively know exactly what the father left them, and that's exactly what the father wanted. 10 goats to Reuven, 10 goats to Shimon. 10 sheep to Reuven, 10 sheep to Shimon. So basically, now I could consider it tfusas habayis. It's exactly what the father left them. Nothing changed. So when the father left them, so it's not a real partnership now. It's exactly what it was, exactly what it is. Oh, but tfusas habayis doesn't bring a kalbain because it's money that just came there. It's one money, and one money doesn't need. It's like a gift, so to speak, of one money doesn't need a kalbain. Afilu cholku g'dayim g'dayim. Oh no, sorry. Uchag mishar rishayna. Yeah. Omer b'yochanan. Afilu cholku g'dayim g'dayim u'tiyashim g'dayim. Even if they didn't do anything special, and it's like tfusas habayis, that's exactly how the father left it over. Kilukuchay saying, no, it's not true. There's no kinds of breira. We don't say we go retroactively. And p'turim in a meiser, they're complete partners, and therefore they don't have to bring meiser. However, they do have to bring a kalbain. Like we learned, if you buy, it's a gift, and this also is considered as if they just bought it. It's not tfusas habayis, it's not retroactive. We know exactly what they got. It's a whole divi, and memela, they're partners, and they're potter from meiser, but the chayim and a kalbain. Have a wonderful day.
Jonathan asked me to tell you it's the shame of Yisrael Meir Druk.
Rabbi Yisrael Meir Druk. Yishkoyach, Jonathan. Thank you. Yeah. Who's on YouTube? Shkoyach Mati. Yisrael Halpern is in Chicago, no? No, he told me he's coming to Chicago for Pesach.
I'm going to Chicago tomorrow.
Tomorrow. So where are you now?
I'm in Boynton Beach. I'm in Florida.
Got it.
Down by Holiday.
Right, Eli, this morning we did the seal of Fachim for the Brocha Yomi Shekalim.
Ah, that's a whole nother day. Yeah, tomorrow morning is Thursday, yeah. So you saved it, Mr. Kornbluth?
Yeah, saved it, and we did it this morning.
Yeah, I said in the Siyum in New York, right before I was Messiah, I said, listen, you can use it in 3 days from now as a Siyum. You don't really have to be Messiah with me, blah, blah, blah. But okay, you took it. Givaldik.
Yeah.
Excellent. Great day. What, you leaving, Mark? That's it? Who?
What is your plan for next Shabbos, Sunday, Monday?
It's a secret. You're going to have to see. How you doing? I have...
It doesn't matter to me what you do, as long as you tell me so I know what to plan.
I had a plan, but when I saw that to do one daf takes the whole day, nah, it didn't really take the whole day, but I don't know, I wasn't on top of it. So I don't know how I'll be able to knock out 3 daf in a day. I don't think it's possible, but I can't give up. So we'll see. I'll do what? That's what I'm thinking, the Gain's Nusach. We'll have to add a couple of things. Everybody knows in shul, if I mess up during davening, it's Nusach Agra. I start stuttering. Refuah, they go, Nusach Agura. Great.
Is there shift Friday?
Of course.
The question is the 3 shurim on Friday. Not 1 for sure. Question is this 3. You know what I'm thinking? No, tell me if this is right. I'm thinking that, look, I'll do the daf of Friday, and I'll do the daf of Chalamayid. And the ones in between, I'll just Nusach HaGrad or something, and nobody will know anyways. Who's going to watch those dapim the first day of Pesach? You're going to do it yourself. You're not going to go on Zoom. You're not going to go on YouTube. There'll be 100 views, whatever. Oh. What? 500 what? I know. I think I'm going to have to. I think I'm officially dropping out this week, unless I'm able to pull it off. I don't know how it's possible. What's the big deal? Tamon kum uf denan tanino kamei de rapapa. Yeah, that's the big deal.
You said that El Masa Tekel, you said before you started sculling, you said something like all Masa Tekel are really sculling, and it's a full tekel. So why is it when we do Masa Tekel before Purim, they're all chetzi? They always have a thing.
No, the opposite. No, it's chatzi. We call it a shekel. It's just a way to speak. You don't say half. You don't say a half. You just say it's $1, but it really is a half a dollar. It's a half a shekel. We call it a shekel. He listened.
I thought you were going to say that you should have partners and brothers, you shouldn't have partners and brothers.
1 minute, Yoeli, is that the house I'm staying in?
Yep.
Oh boy. It looks a lot nicer in the picture than in real life.
Inside.
1 minute, who took that picture? Oh, you guys took it when you came for the Vart?
I want to tell a story now, please.
Hmm.
Can I tell a story connected with this stuff?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Have you heard, Rebelli, of somebody called the Ponovich Sharo?
No. Was he a Litvak? If he was a Litvak, I didn't hear about him.
I think he was a math teacher.
But I heard he's a Tzioini. He put a flag on top of his yeshiva.
Was sitting with my mum and dad when we were on vacation in Switzerland.
Yeah. Whoa.
Sitting around. He starts telling a story that straight after the war, he went to Sweden because, of course, he wanted to set up the Matriarch and he wanted to build the yeshiva. And he got stopped at the border. They said, "Why are you coming in?" He said, "I'm coming in to get money from the Jewish people because I want to build X, Y, and Z." They took him all the way, believe it or not, to the Queen of Sweden. Fine. You're doing such a wonderful thing after the Shoah. I will allow you into this country, and I'm going to write you the first check. And she wrote him a check.
For how much?
And he said to everybody, a big one. I've got this check in my pocket, and I've not been paid in.
You didn't get it?
No.
Oh, man.
That's not Yan, you fool.
Wow.
By the way. Belly, have a good day.
Gedalia, I love it when you tell me that. Straight out. The maturity, I can see you becoming more mature. Yosef is becoming more mature. Yosef?
My friend is firstborn and he decided not to do the task, so he needs to do something to make see him tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I'm going to see him.
Are you going to do the CM for him?
I'm not doing. My dad's doing the see him tomorrow.
Really? What did he finish, your dad? With us? He didn't do it with us?
Oh my Oh boy.
He has a local
Ellie, I just want to tell you the best market share in the world, even in Scotland.
He does the 8-minute daf.
Ellie, you sure wants to know if you got any merch with the seal.
I did. I got merch. I got what Yosef Kamen is wearing. Same thing.
Yeah, I think you have to start off the shield one morning wearing it.
You should know, Mark, I don't know if I'll remember to tell you, that cover that you guys got me is phenomenal. But then I put it next to the merch, and I realized why it's phenomenal. The colors are so good. It's real gold. On the merch, it's like yellow. You cannot compare the colors. Even the blue is so blue, it's beautiful. That was a great one. I love that one. That was a nice gift.